Good evening, I'm Camelia and this is KiniNews. A group has come up with what they said is a simple solution to the problem of relocating a Hindu temple in order to build a mosque. Let's take a look at their proposal. Advocates who are calling for the preservation of Dewi Sri Pathrakaliamman Temple in Kuala Lumpur have proposed an alternative site for the mosque which is planned to be built on the temple's current location. In a press conference today, Lawyers for Liberty Executive Director Zaid Malek said rather than going through with the demolition and relocation of the 130-year-old temple, the proposed mosque could be built on two adjacent plots of land.
Solusi mudah. Tidak perlu pun sebenarnya kuil itu dirobohkan. Kuil itu ataupun ada tapak di sebelah kuil itu sebenarnya yang cukup besar untuk kita buat masjid. Malah ada juga tapak yang berhampiran, yang kosong. Kalaulah katalah tapak itu sendiri tak cukup, boleh panjangkan ke arah tapak blok tanah kosong itu sendiri.
Meanwhile, Ambiga, who was also at the press conference, stressed that the government has a role to play in finding a solution for the temple despite the land being owned by a private company. Earlier, DBKL had said that project was not a proposal by the government, but by the private company as the rightful landowner. It said the temple relocation will be done fairly and transparently, with the interest parties to ensure a smooth implementation. The temple, which is reportedly 130 years old, is opposite the Jakel Mall in the city center. Still on the topic, Jakel has clarified that discussions with the temple management on a relocation site was still ongoing and construction would only begin once the temple's relocation is complete. Jakel Group, the owner of a piece of land that houses the Dewi Sri Pathrakaliamman Temple in Jalan Masjid India, has guaranteed that it will not force a demolition of the Hindu worship house. In a press conference today, its legal and corporate communications head, Aiman Dazuki, said the company wants to find a win-win solution for both parties and will continue negotiating with the Temple Management Committee. He said that the company would only begin construction on the site after the matter is resolved and the temple is relocated to another site agreed upon by the temple management. He added that they have also offered compensation to the Temple Committee to cover its relocation costs but could not reveal the amounts as the matter is still being discussed. Aiman also stressed that the company had surveyed the land since 2009 before signing a purchase agreement 3 years later to realize the company founder Mohammed Jakel Ahmad's wish to wakaf a mosque for the local community. Meanwhile, Jakel Chief Financial Officer Syed Nasrul Fahmi Syed Muhammad said the temple was already on the site but they were informed that it was only temporary. He said the company would not have purchased the land plot if there was any restriction imposed on them. He added that the process to purchase the land plot involved the DBKL and he believes DBKL as the authority should be clear about the status of the site. Earlier, DBKL said it has identified a new site to relocate the Hindu temple. In a statement, it said the issue arose as part of the land that houses the temple is owned by a private company. Before we move on, consider supporting us by scanning the QR code on the screen and subscribing to Malaysia Kini. Moving on to PN, Muhyiddin Yassin believes his coalition can solve all the rakyat's problems and can do better than Madani government. Here's more on that. Perikatan Nasional is prepared to take over the country's administration through the 16th general election. This is according to its chairperson Muhyiddin Yassin. Speaking at a Buka Puasa event in Kuala Lumpur last night, Muhyiddin said that PN is ready at any time and can do better than the current government.
At time when we face difficulty or pandemic, there is growth. At time when there's no pandemic and there's no issues, other issues we face today, growth is not as big as before. Jadi bagi peluang pada kita tak bela negara, kita boleh buktikan pada Malaysia that we can perform better than Pakatan Harapan, insyaAllah. Ini kita request seperti ini pasal juga kita ingin tadi macam apakah pihak kita bersatu dan PN ini sudah bersedia untuk menjadi the alternative government atau government in waiting. Tapi sebut apa-apa pun, we are ready anytime. Of course, proses demokrasi dan lain-lain itu biasalah.
Muhyiddin acknowledged the rakyat struggles, pointing to rising costs, removal of subsidies, and stagnant incomes, and said that if PN is given the chance, they will make things right, as they have the answers to all the issues. He was also optimistic that the coalition, consisting of Bersatu, PAS, Gerakan and SAPP, will be voters' first choice and urged all PN members to remain steadfast in their struggle. He also advised PN members not to worry or be discouraged for being in the opposition. Instead, he advised them to have confidence in the coalition's strength and commitment to play their role as the opposition. In response to this, Puan Zarkashi reminded Muhyiddin of the white flag movement when PN was in power. UMNO's Supreme Council member Puan Zarkashi has hit out at Perikatan Nasional chairperson Muhyiddin Yassin over his remarks on taking over the government. In a post on Facebook today, Puan said that when PN was in power, it had mishandled the COVID-19 pandemic. He said the height of Muhyiddin's failure was the emergence of the white flag movement everywhere and questioned if Muhyiddin has a short-term memory problem. Puan also claimed that the movement's control order the PN administration implemented doubled the deaths from 2,800 to 5,768 within 38 days. The white flag movement organically gained momentum amid the financial hardships Malaysians experienced during the COVID-19 lockdown. The movement involved placing a white flag to signal for aid if one was struggling to get food and other essentials. Yesterday, Muhyiddin said PN is prepared to take over the country's administration and had solutions to the people's issues. He highlighted PN's handling of the COVID-19 pandemic and said that the coalition would do a better job than the current government. Mujahid Yusof Rawa has told Abdul Hadi Awang that the idea to limit the PM's tenure was not made by DAP. He reminded Hadi that PAS was part of the group that had agreed with the idea. Amanah Vice President Mujahid Yusof Rawa has reminded PAS President Abdul Hadi Awang that the idea to limit the Prime Minister's tenure was agreed upon in the days of Barisan Alternative, which PAS was part of. In a statement today, Mujahid questioned the PAS president's slip of the tongue in targeting DAP over the proposal as if the latter had originally suggested a reform. He also pointed out that the reform proposal to limit the PM's term is meant to prevent abuse of power and a repeat of past nightmares. He said if a prime minister is not given a term limit, there is a possibility of them amassing power which leads to an ironclad rule and can lead to injustice to occur. He questioned if former Premier Mahathir Mohamad was not once called Mahafiraun due to alleged dictatorial traits as a result of there being no limits to his tenure. He said the solution to the problem is to limit the tenure of the PM so that past nightmares do not repeat themselves. Yesterday, Hadi had taken aim at those who embraced DAP's suggestion, saying they had forgotten or chose to ignore the fundamental principles crucial to achieving success in this world and the hereafter, that Islamic principles must guide the nation's leadership. The Transport Ministry will represent the government in inking the agreement with Ocean Infinity to facilitate a new search for the wreckage of the missing Malaysia Airlines aircraft MH370. This was announced by Anthony Loke yesterday. The Cabinet has approved an agreement with Ocean Infinity to facilitate a new search for the wreckage of the missing Malaysia Airlines aircraft MH370. Transport Minister Anthony Loke said his ministry will represent the government in signing the agreement. This came following the Cabinet's agreement with the terms and conditions set by the UK-based Marine Exploration Company. In a statement yesterday, Loke said the agreement will see the initiation of deep-sea search operations to detect MH370 in a new location estimated to cover about 15,000 square kilometers in the southern Indian Ocean. He also reiterated that the search will be based on a no-fine, no-fee principle where the government will not be required to make any payments if the aircraft's wreckage is not found. He added that a fee of $70 million will be paid to Ocean Infinity if the wreckage of MH370 is successfully located. Loke said the government is committed to continuing the search operation and providing closure for the families of the MH370 passengers. Previously, Ocean Infinity conducted a search operation in the southern Indian Ocean from January to June 2018, but no wreckage was found. That is all from me today. For more stories, you can go to kinitv.com. You can also follow us on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook for the latest news updates. I'm Camelia. Thanks for watching.